Welcome to Module 5, Chapter 6, Property Transfer Taxes. This won't be too different than what you did in Module 4. What is the amount of transfer tax for a parcel of real estate that's sold for $866,500? The transfer was subject to a transfer tax of 50 cents for each 750 or fraction thereof the total selling price. Okay, so let's start here. 866,500 divided by 750. So remember in our previous module, a lot of them were by 100. We had one that was by 300. So this is the same thing. It's just for each 750. It's a smaller amount because it's a transfer tax. It's not a property tax. So this equals $1,155. Multiply that by our 50 cents. Gives us our answer of $577.50. The state transfer tax is 30 cents for each 100 or fraction thereof of the full selling price. The county transfer tax is 50 cents for each 600 or fraction thereof the selling price. What is the total state and county transfer tax due for a transaction in which the buyer paid $422,000? The seller has a loan balance of $273,400 at 6.5% annual interest rate. Okay, guess what? This is trying to confuse you. This does not matter in this question, okay? So, but these are different. We have 30 cents on 100 and 50 cents on 600. So we simply just need to work these separate and then add them together. So let's start with the state, okay? Where we're gonna say 422 divided by 100 times 0.30. Okay, and then we will do the county 422. Now we're going to divide by 600 because it's per 600. Gives us 703. Multiply it by 50 cents. Gives us 352. Simply add those together and the total is 1618. What is the amount of transfer tax due for real estate that's sold for $177,400 cash? The transfer tax is calculated at 75 cents for each $300 of purchase price. Okay, just like before, $177,400 divided by 300 equals 590 times our tax gives us a total of $443. The transfer tax is calculated at 50 cents for each $500 of the purchase price. The transfer tax paid is $178. What is the purchase price? Okay, we're just going to work this backwards. Okay, so we're going to take our 178, ignore that, and we're going to say times 500 equals 89,000 divided by our tax equals $178,000. So we're just working this one backwards. So instead of dividing by 500, we multiply by 500. And where we've been multiplying by our tax rate, we're dividing. So we're just changing our function, that's all. The county transfer tax rate is 75 cents per 500 of sales price. What is the amount of the transfer tax for a property selling at 210? 500. 210 divided by 500 equals 420. times 0.75 equals $315. What transfer tax will be charged for property selling for $158,200? The county charges 75-cent transfer tax for each $300 of consideration paid in cash. The borrower assumed the seller's $100,200 loan balance and paid the remaining $58,000 in cash. This is a good example of be careful and read the questions thoroughly because they're playing a trick. It's a trap. So what it says is they pay 75 cents on each 300 paid in cash. So this right here is irrelevant. It's just extra words. It's just noise put in there. So the only thing we need to worry about the transfer tax on is this. We don't worry about that. So we're going to take our 58,000, divide it by $300, and that gives us 527. No, I'm sorry, 193. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. 193 times our transfer tax of 75 cents, and that equals 145. What would the transfer tax have been if the property in the above question had been a cash sale? Well, that property sold for $158,200. The transfer, remember, was per 300, and it was 75 cents. So that would have been 527 times 0.75. So instead of 145, it would have been $395 if the whole transaction had been in cash and instead of just the 58,000. Property is sold for $175,500 cash. The state levies a transfer tax of 55 cents for each $200 or fraction thereof the sales price. What amount of transfer tax is due? So 175 on each 200 and then that times 0.55 equals 483. The state transfer tax on deeds is 12 cents for each 100 of the sales price. The county transfer tax is 30 cents for each 200 of the sales price. The sales price of a residence is $174,500 and is financed by an 80% new mortgage loan. What is the total transfer tax that will be charged? Okay, we've got to work two problems again because we have 12 cents on every 100 and 30 cents on every 200. So we take our full amount. That does not matter in this question. It's just extra noise. So we have 174,500. This is D. So we divide by 100 and multiply by 1.12. And then on the county, it's 174,500. Now we divide by 200 and multiply that by 30 cents. So we've got 209.40 and 261.90. We add those together for a total of 471. A property is sold for $200,000 with an 80% new mortgage. What amount of transfer tax is due if the state charges 25 cents for each 500 of value? Noise. So we've got 200,000 for each 500, and then multiply that number by 25 cents. Gives us $100. That concludes this module's video lecture. Good luck. As usual, if you have any questions, please reach out to me.